Louis.
Hello,
Been a while.
Tim.
Been a
Great
while.
introduction. Best one.
Best one so far.
Best one so far. We didn't mess
It-
up. My name
it's
is Tim. His name is Louis.
you know
Sorry, this way.
it's been a while. How's everybody doing? Funny thing is that a lot of things have happened. We're not gonna bore you on what's been going on for the last month or so, but the last time that we spoke to you guys was Matthew Rosenberg. We interviewed Matthew Rosenberg for What's the Furthest Place from Here. Before that, we had a big explosion of subscribers and listeners on our podcast because solely of the Todd father himself, Mr. Todd McFarlane, was on our show too as well. So all that is available on every single podcast directory, Louis. There was enough people that listened to us. I showed you the stats too as well. We gained someone in Malaysia. I don't know who is listening to us in Malaysia. Like, do you have families there in Malaysia?
No, but I think I keep mentioning it, so it keeps getting sent over there.
It's odd because
you mentioned like a country, a state, anything, and eventually it gets pushed into that direction because of mentionings.
So as of right now, until later on in 2022, we are in 9 different directories right now. Okay, so not just Spotify. We're also on Podcast Addict, SoundCloud. We're gonna be on Anchor soon. We're in every single podcast directory there is. So just choose any one of them. Okay, so just because a lot of people told us about options and just growth,
Malaysia,
right?
very pretty.
Yeah, Malaysia. Have you been, Louis?
No, I mean after seeing these images, I'm like, might as well give it a try.
You're just like you reminded me of spoilers for everybody. I shouldn't be a spoilers for everybody. By the time this airs, like December 26th. But that part with in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Nope. No, I have not seen it. You will
Oh,
die.
you haven't seen it?
You will die.
Well, I'm gonna spoil it to you later. But today, we are going to speak with a past guest that we had about a few months ago. His name is Kevin Boyd. If you guys don't know who Kevin Boyd is, you should. He is one of the top guy, or he is a top guy. I would say. I think I should go as far as saying that he probably owns FanExpo. He probably owns FanExpo. But he is one of the top guys there in FanExpo. He takes care of every single artist and writers there. Spoke to about a couple of months ago. Essentially, how convention looks like and how they're going to deal with the pandemic. Well, we want to end the year because convention season is over. We wanted to end the year and see where they are currently right now, what they've learned, and what's going to be going on in the in the coming year, because a coronavirus from Cybertron just came and landed, and we're about to experience it again, and we're gonna have the almost exact same topic but a little bit different. So I'm just gonna bring him in right now, right here. How are you today, sir?
I'm well, guys. How are you today?
Good. Thank you for taking the time, Mr. Kevin Boyd, in the show here.
No problem. And I don't own FanExpo.
I was gonna say, I'm like, oh man, he's gonna get in trouble with them. Like, I don't know.
I'm just a wheel in the machine.
The big wheel, though. I would say the big wheel.
The comics wheel.
Yeah, the comics wheel. Yes, I've always we have a mutual friend with Carlos. He always told me when I first saw when he introduced me to you for the first time, he's like, you better kiss the ring with this man. That's what he says. But how's everything with you, sir? How are you dealing with the pandemic and whatnot?
I'm well. I'm good. You know, I did 7 shows over 3 months, and now I'm working on next year's stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm feeling good. I actually, with all that's going on, despite of all that's going on recently, right, I'm still very positive about how we're dealing with things.
Right. So, the last time that we spoke, we were, I believe you guys were about to plan MegaCon, I believe it was, because I believe there's like 1 or 2 cons that you guys had before that had to be moved. I believe you guys moved it.
Yeah, we had to cancel a few. We had to move a few around.
Right.
Like normally MegaCon would be in May, and we had it in August in 2021.
Right. And MegaCon was that one con that everyone was kind of waiting for because it was like a pretty big one. Louis, were you in MegaCon this year?
No, not at all.
You guys didn't go?
You're always so amazed by the fact that you think I'm in every con,
Well,
but
no,
I was
because
only like in one.
because you guys were like you're in Florida. Yeah, your store is in Florida, Nowhere Comics.
Never get invited to Mega.
And Nowhere Toys.
I only ever get invited to Super. And New York was a special thing because everybody that they asked to work there, sick, family, other engagements that just automatically appeared out of nowhere. And I was like, Louis, you're single, lonely, and willing to do work for your money. Want to drive all the way up to New York? I was like, no, but I like money.
Well, maybe you should tell Tony to go to MegaCon. That's pretty big, man. I mean, like, it's not that far. Huh?
He is going to. Is he going to invite me?
Oh, okay. I see. So Tony was there, but you weren't there.
No, I'm not privileged enough for the Orlando lifestyle. But New York apparently is on the table.
New York. Yeah, so we were talking about MegaCon, and we were talking about how MegaCon was going to be that kind of a standard convention for 2020. How did that go, sir? How was the show then?
I think it went really well. Like all things considered, we had to do the mandatory masks, and I would have expected there to be a lot more fighting, given it was Florida.
Right.
But for the most part, people came in. I think they just were so happy to have a con again.
Right.
They said, "I'll wear a mask. I don't care. It's okay." Whether or not they liked it or not, they did it. Right. There were a few exceptions. I think there were like a few hundred people that had to be asked to leave.
Right.
Not complying, but that was of thousands of people that came. Right. So I would say we probably did about 70% of what we would normally do at MegaCon. So we still had a great turnout. And we spaced things out a little bit more. For me, it was very frustrating because so many guests passed on the show, like just in the weeks before, right? So
right.
But the guests that did come had a fantastic time and did amazing. So like Frank Cho and Ryan Otley, those guys, Travis, they just did really well. So
right. I believe that's at. I think Tyler was there too as well.
Yeah, Tyler Kirkham was there.
Yeah, Tyler was there too as well. I heard that it did really well, and everyone had a good time too as well. Was it kind of difficult because it was? I believe it was that point where things were a little bit more uncertain, kind of thing, and you guys had different plans on how to get the crowd in. Like, do you get them all in the same time, or do you do it kind of like a club style that we were talking about at the time? How did you guys control the crowd?
So what they did was they opened up the box office room, and so people come redeem their tickets, and then they had people lined socially distanced, and then brought them all in at the same time. So we just basically blocked off a huge area, like basically the size of a convention hall, for people to line up before the show, and then we let them in.
Right. So and everyone's kind of compliant with it too as well. And
really was good. I mean, the worst violators were the exhibitors, but they have to go and yell at them a bit. But
were you guys able to take what you guys did with MegaCon and then applied it to the next con? I believe you guys had the FanExpo Canada, I think it was after.
So the one immediately after would have been FanExpo Boston.
Okay.
Yeah, where we did do mandatory masks, and that worked out well. It was a smaller turnout. Of course, Boston's a smaller show, but and then we did a smaller version of our annual Calgary show was right after that.
Right.
And that went pretty well, but that was severely reduced because in Canada the restrictions are much tighter on what we can do and what we can't do. We did FanExpo Dallas, which was fantastic. We did pretty close to our normal numbers there. And again, mandatory masks, social distancing when necessary. Don't eat and drink while you're walking around.
Right.
Which I'm not sure what the difference is there, but why you can't do that. But that's just one of those things. And then we had a few other things happened over the course of the year. We had to cancel our Edmonton show because there was a health crisis in Alberta.
Right.
So their case numbers went up, and then we bought the Wizard Cons in the process of all that. So,
right, yeah.
So I had to go to Wizard Chicago, the very last Wizard World Chicago, before it becomes FanExpo Chicago next year. So I went there, and again, mandatory masks. Everyone had a great show.
Right.
It was a lot of fun. Sort of a end of an era with Wizard closing that down, but also a chance to see what we can do in the space, and with the convention hotel like right across the street, it's fantastic.
Right.
Then we had Fan Expo Canada limited edition the week after that, and that went really well, I think. Very, very restrictive there. So they wouldn't even let us put chairs in the rooms for panels.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was wacky. So
were they expected to stand or sit?
To stand preferably, but people did sit. So we what we did was we moved most of the programming out of panel rooms, and we set up stages on the floor, and we had big wide open areas, and so people sort of sat on the floor in front of the stages, or just hung around and watched. And I tried to make my comics programming shorter for that reason, so that people weren't sitting on the floor for long periods of time.
Right.
So it was like half an hour bursts. So it was like, meet this creator, or here's a sketch duel, or here's a drawing demo, or here's info on a Kickstarter. Yeah.
Right. So for everyone who is not too familiar with the difference between the rules in Canada and the US, what are the difference that you have encountered when restrictions, and then what you can and cannot do? Because, you know, in terms of Canadian restriction, there's a little bit more restriction when it comes to COVID in there. You know, they each provinces, which is kind of like a state in the US, each provinces have their own restriction, but they comply with what the federal as a whole wanted to do. Like, what are the differences, and what are the difficulties that you've encountered there versus the states?
Well, I think the big difference is more people are vaccinated in Canada. I think we're closing in on 90% have been double vaccinated.
Okay.
So, and now kids are getting it. So that's really working out well. I mean, regardless of what people's view on it, a real way to curb spread is to have your population vaccinated. And that in Canada, that's worked out really well. We had mandatory vaccination requirements for Canada.
Right.
So for FanExpo Canada. And so you had to show your card as you entered, or a code, like a QR code on your phone.
The digital one. So,
yeah. And so that worked out well. It made everybody who was at the show a little bit more at ease, because they knew everyone else that was around them was double vaccinated, or, you know, there wasn't a negative test option there. You had to be double vaccinated. Otherwise you were just told not to come.
Right.
So
it's only difficult for, well, was it difficult for a lot of artists from the States to come over to Canada when it comes to for that? Because I know that I was there in Canada, and then you know, you have to take the PCR test instead of like the regular test, and was that like a big obstacle for artists from the States coming over to Canada?
Because of the unknown of cross-border traffic, a lot of American creators decided not to do the shows in Canada this year. So the ones who did come to Fan Expo Canada were those that could drive over from areas like Detroit or Buffalo. And so they had no problems. So they got a negative test before they came in, and showed their proof of vaccination to get across the border. And then we arranged for them to be tested so they can go home.
Okay.
So that way they don't have to run around finding a place that does testing that will do it for them. They just go to a certain area of the show at a certain time. They get tested, they get a result, then they can drive right home. No problems.
Okay.
And we do the same thing with all of our shows. So like when I go to like a US show, they test me. Like our company has a testing facility. So they test me so I can go home. And same thing with any Canadian guests that come over. And then same thing on the Canadian side for any US guests that come across. We will test them so they don't have to pay anything.
Right. Has it been difficult to get artists to come in during the COVID?
I think there were quite a few people that opted not to do shows in 2021. They wanted to wait and see. But I think quite a few people, after seeing that we'd done 7 shows and there weren't any issues, there were no major outbreaks that came out of the shows. Right. And then we were doing things like having a mask policy, or in some of the shows we were having proof of vaccination requirements.
Right.
I think a lot of people are more at ease. So quite a few people, and a lot of them waited too because they had kids. Right. And they didn't want to risk, going and bringing back something to their families.
Right.
So now that their kids are all getting vaccinated, they're like, oh, heck, I'm doing shows. So, right. So if you look at like FanExpo New Orleans, it's a great comic list. I'm very proud of that one. So
now that 2021 is actually behind us and convention season just, officially has ended, I guess. The first big con coming into 2022 would be New Orleans, I believe, and then Portland.
Yep.
Now that it seems like I'm asking you the exact same question again, because Omicron is here now. So there's a newer, more contagious virus now. Yeah. How are you guys able to, or are you guys planning right now, taking what you've learned in 2021 convention and then applying it to 2022? Has that been a difficult kind of adjustment, since Omicron, they say it's a little bit more contagious than Delta itself?
Yeah, it's obviously we're taking everything into account. We're watching the news and we're working with the local health units in each of the areas. So, and each one has different rules. Like right now, New Orleans, their rule for events is you have to show proof of vaccination or a negative test result within 72 hours of the con.
Right.
So they may turn around and say, okay, we want to change it from 72 to 24 hours, like a flight has done. So we might do that. And they don't have a mandatory mask mandate down there. So we're doing masks are highly suggested and recommended for everybody. But we can't enforce it because legally they have something that says we don't. But that may change, right? Everything's changing day by day. So the city of New Orleans may turn around and say, yes, mandatory masks, in which case that's great. But all of our staff, and we're recommending all our vendors, wear masks.
Right.
There's also the slight chance that they might actually just, rather than just make mask mandated, like a booster shot would be the mandated new thing. So there's so many, like 2, 4, or 5 different things that they can go about, and they're all in different states.
Oh, go ahead.
No worries. For some reason I got muted on my mic. Yeah. But yeah, no, we're definitely looking at. I mean, obviously, if booster shots are a requirement, that would be something we would add to the mix to check. Like I just got my booster shot 3 days ago, so I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Yeah. Omicron is high. It's more contagious, but it's less pathogenic, is all the research I've been reading.
Right.
So if you're vaccinated, you may still get it, right? Because it is more contagious. But the benefit of vaccination and the booster shot is that you're protected, and it's going to be less of an effect on you.
Yeah.
So,
my wife would say that you don't die.
Exactly. Yeah.
Has it? Have you guys? Did you guys have to do a very difficult decision in terms of the cosplay area? Because in the cosplay area, a lot of people tend to be a little bit more interactive, I should say. A lot more people are like with their friends and whatnot. Did you guys have to do any difficult decisions when it comes to that? I know that you guys have to do difficult decisions when it comes to celebrity guests coming in. Yeah. I know you guys have a little bit more stricter, I believe, when it comes to meet and greet kind of thing, right?
The celebrities all have plexiglass in front of them, like the clear plastic. And little openings so people can pass some pictures and stuff like that. The cosplayers, everybody was recommended to wear masks at the shows, so people built that into their cosplay for the most part. So, so if you had a mask costume, you wore a mask within the mask as well, so you're double mask.
Right.
And, we obviously kept an eye on lines and crowding to make sure that no areas were overly like packed with people. With the comics area, like I keep an eye on, make sure there are no huge lines in front of tables, and then my staff will come in and we'll spread people out so they're not blocking. or causing a commotion. But yeah, that's the big thing right now, is just making sure that any areas that get really congested, we're on it and either moving people along or organizing them into lines where they're distanced.
Mm-hmm.
So
with the past with just the past comic convention, are you guys still having a hard time trying to get some artists and some guests to come by for 2022, or is it like one of those things like, I'll just kind of wait and see, and like, I don't know about that, or the reputation that you guys have built already and be like, hey, we are safe in here, this is what we do, has that increased more guests, or has it been very difficult to get them to come in?
I mean, obviously, I've been booking the guests for next year for a lot of the shows in the last little while. So I will say that response has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And if everything works out, we'll have some fantastic guest lists. Some of the guest lists some of the best ones we've ever had.
Right. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, in the artist community wise, they're kind of feeling, and they're like, we kind of miss like going to conventions nowadays, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are kind of, they're more open to like come in now, right? It's just that with Omicron coming in, it seems like it's just an ongoing story almost every year, kind of thing. So essentially, you guys, there wasn't really that much of a change then in terms of like what you guys had to do to keep the public safe, because it seems like it's almost the same thing, but just kind of tweak it a little bit just so it's a little bit more safer for everybody. Like you said, you spread everybody around a little bit more, kind of thing, so and a lot of people are more complied, right?
Yeah, and we're also keeping an eye on attendance as well to make sure that we don't overdo it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of places will have like attendance limits right now as with COVID. So so we're keeping an eye on how many people are in the building as well, and making sure we don't go over that number.
Right.
So, yeah.
So just like last year that just passed, do you guys have a contingency plan if anything happens? You guys are going to be moving dates, or are you guys just going to be trying for next year, kind of thing?
No, obviously, I think if something were to happen and a show was canceled, we would look at finding a contingency date, and that has to deal with the convention center and availability.
Mm-hmm.
What they're willing to shift around for us to get us in on another weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, now that everything did start opening up again, a lot of the facilities have booked up their years.
Mm-hmm.
So finding an alternate date may be more difficult than it was in previous years.
Right.
So, like this year in particular, we could say, oh, well, MegaCon isn't happening in May. We want to move it to August. And they would say, well, we don't have anything going on in August. So, yeah, you can
Right.
pick weekends. But next year's August will hopefully be back to sort of a sense of normal for their event booking, which means we'd be contending with,
right,
sports competitions and doctors' conventions and tech shows and boat shows and car shows and other things that happen in those spaces.
Right.
So,
yeah. So I'm assuming that booking venues are becoming a little bit more difficult, I would say, because since a lot of things got pushed back, kind of thing, for other conventions.
pretty much, yeah. I mean, that will be the issue. Will be if something were to happen and we were canceled, getting back in at another date in the same year might be more difficult.
Okay.
So
I see.
Yeah.
So that's actually really nice, though. So Lewis, I mean, like for you, someone who has like you have like underlying conditions, you should be okay going to FanExpo. So just tell your boss that you should go, man. I mean, like MegaCon is just there. I'm like, I
what you're
don't.
doing. It's not working.
I'm just saying you could go now, man. I mean,
one of these things pays me. The other one is just for fun.
I do want to ask you, sir. If you were to give a little bit of a hint, which show would be the biggest one this year so far? Well, in terms of, actually, I should go by celebrity. Let's go by celebrity first. Which one of your shows this year would be the big one?
Well, how about this? I'll say the shows that people should watch. There are tier 1 shows. So the first one would be Philadelphia.
Okay.
In early April. Formerly Wizard Philadelphia. We're really putting a lot of effort into guest list on every section for that one. The same thing would be MegaCon Orlando.
Right? Yeah. That's just like almost every year, yeah.
Con is our number 2 show after FanExpo Canada, and the guest lists on the comic side are amazing so far.
Oh, wow.
So I just can't announce them yet because we're still too far out.
Of course.
You also don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
FanExpo Dallas is a good one. Usually that's a good one. Denver, I think the plan is to really put effort into that one because they did get great numbers there before. We were there in the end of October and had a great time.
You guys had a preview kind of.
Yeah, it was like a
show.
smaller version. They called it the limited edition show or a special edition show.
Right.
I wasn't ready for the altitude difference. That was
really? Is there really an altitude difference in Denver? I mean, like in Canada, I mean, like that's like up there.
Yeah, well, you're way up there in Denver, so the air is a lot thinner, so you get winded faster.
Really? It's like higher than like say if you were in Toronto or Barrie?
Oh, way up compared to Toronto and Barrie. Yeah, it'd be more akin to Calgary. Calgary's a higher altitude.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, because I'm just thinking of like an atlas. I was like, it's not that. I'm like, no, it's not that high. But then I see what you're saying. So okay. So Denver would
be Chicago. Wizard Chicago now FanExpo Chicago in early July. That'd be an amazing one too. So
okay,
a lot of special anniversaries next year. So we're hoping to do some celebrating.
Yeah. Image is celebrating the 30th anniversary too as well. Are you guys bringing in the Image 7 at some point?
Maybe not. I can't say at this point, but
okay.
But you might see not all 7. You might see some for sure.
It's like 2, 3. There's 3 out of the 7.
Whichever one agreed, and then they all understood that they were all invited, and it's like, okay, let's see who in this round who's actually coming.
It's like the Beatles, like you only get Ringo and George Harrison kind of thing. Yeah. But no, that should be something exciting though. I mean, like what about retailers? Have you guys been getting a lot of big responses for retailers now too as well?
Yeah, a lot of the retailers are hopping on board again. We do we're incorporating some of the Wizard things that they did. So they used to have a truck that drove goods between shows for everybody. So that's very attractive if you're a vendor. And if I can get my stuff to the first show on the list, then you take it from there to the next show for me.
Right.
Then I don't have to worry about shipping it. I don't have to worry about finding I can just bring a couple boxes of new inventory with me.
Right.
Wherever I go, but at least my stuff is being transported across the country at a really low rate, basically.
Right.
So
nice.
Yeah.
So essentially next year, you're barely going to be home next year because they're almost like one after another, right?
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty much from January to November, every 2 to 3 weeks, I'm at a different show.
Right.
Yeah.
And like and then if you go down the list kind of thing, I don't think you'll be in Canada for like at least 6-7 months. If that's the case, because there's a lot more FanExpo convention here in the States than there would be in Canada, right? There's like 3 in Canada, main ones.
Yeah, I mean we have I think it's 17 shows, big shows, and 2 or 3 smaller ones. So I think I'm going to like 14 of them. So pretty much one a month.
14 of them. Okay. So if we were to tell our audience to watch out for guest announcements, it would be for New Orleans, Portland. Are you guys going to be announcing the next ones or just those 2 for now?
So New Orleans, all the comic guests are announced. So go to FanExpoNewOrleans.com or FanExpoHQ.com and then go to the New Orleans section. All the comic guests are on the website right now. And that includes people like Alan Davis, Arthur Adams, Jerry Dugan, Yannick Paquette, Ben Templesmith. And then we've announced the first wave for Portland. So I'm really excited. Dan Mora is going to be there. And I think Ben Templesmith is going to be that one as well, but let me double check. And then I'm preparing to do the announcements for Vancouver, which is in mid-February.
Okay.
So I just sent them the list for the flyer, and then they're going to prepare to do an announcement on that show in early January of which comic creators are going to be there. So that's cool. A lot more Canadian that one because they want to stay within the country.
Okay, so that's good. So that's basically the first two of the year. Then, hopefully there's nothing awful that happened with the Omicron thing, because, I mean, the first two is in January, and then we have Christmas that just can't, and it's coming, and then everybody's gonna be flying home and all that stuff. So hopefully everything goes well. I know for a fact that I'm gonna be in one of those, and I'm planning to go in like more, and more of them too as well. Well, I mean, like, again, I mean, thank you for being on the show, sir. I mean, like, it seems like that you guys have everything on, pretty much on locked in terms of keeping everybody safe, because that anime expo that happened in New York, that must have tainted a little bit on the convention, the reputation wise, on like if it's safe, if it's not safe, kind of thing, right? So I would assume that kind of bruised up a little bit.
Very disappointing to see that in the news, especially considering we had done 8 shows up to that point without any issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then to hear they did one show and then everybody remembers that one. It's like, as my boss always says, people remember the one bad experience more than they remember the 25 positive experiences. So
yeah,
the same thing. I know our competitors at Repop, they've been doing a very good job of keeping people safe at their events as well. So so I think that's we're all in the business of making positive experiences for people. So we want to avoid people from getting sick and having other problems. So
exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, again, you guys, seems like you guys are doing a great job on actually keeping everybody safe. But again, like you said, nobody sees that part, and they're like, they hear one horrible thing, they're just like, no, don't go to conventions. But they never really hear about like what you just described and what you guys do, separating everybody and whatnot. Anything that you would like to share in our audience, sir, on the upcoming shows, websites, dates, anything like that?
I think just keep an eye out for our social media. So we're in all these different markets now. So most people have a show that's within their state now or nearby.
Mm-hmm.
So keep an eye on our social media for guest announcements and upcoming events related. We do lots of contests on our websites, lots of giveaways, movie passes, and prizing and so forth. And then we do a lot of stuff through the FanExpo store. We do monthly DC Comics variants with special covers, and we just announced a big Christmas Archie variant with different covers, sort of Archie and Betty and Veronica in different poses.
Right.
With the Christmas tree, and
right.
We're having fun with it. So we're trying to create. We're trying to lead to the whole Comic-Con lifestyle, I guess. So.
I get. Well, thank you again for being on the show, sir, and then letting us know that definitely everybody's definitely hope to see you in more shows. Lewis, hopefully you go in some shows too as well. Say hi. I mean, come on,
yeah,
man.
say hi. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Well, again, thank you again, sir, for being on being in the show. Definitely thank you again for taking the time. I know you're busy. You're a busy guy right now, so
no problem. I gotta go and buy some Coke Zero. So
all right. You have a good day then, sir.
All right, take care, guys. Have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
So, Lewis, are you gonna be going in the show?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You gotta have to convince Tony to take you to MegaCon, man. Like, you just have to.
Listen,
I don't know why he won't take. He'd take you to New York, but he's like, "Oh, I need a driver."
He took me to New York out of pure desperation.
He's desperate for someone to work.
It's like, okay, what about the homeless man? No, he apparently just reunited with his family. That jerk. And then there's me.
And then it's like, so they asked the homeless man first, and he's like, God damn it. I can't. I gotta ask Lewis.
I gotta ask this fucking psychopath.
That looks like Jesus's cousin with that hair.
Who probably actually betrayed him. And pushed the blame somewhere else.
Like I said, you look like Jesus'
I was
cousin.
Judas's Judas.
You look, like I said, you look like Jesus' cousin, but Jesus denies you. Be like, no, I don't know that, man.
And ever since then, the grudge was committed by Jesus's cousin.
I gotta say though, like one of my main concerns at the con last year too as well was like how are they gonna keep like the cosplayers from like touching other people kind of thing? Because I know they like to take pictures and whatnot.
That's up to the cosplayers themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Touching has never been really allowed ever.
Well, I don't mean that kind of touching, Lewis. I mean like high fives and
just that. Yeah, no, general.
You're just like thinking like touching. We're like, yeah, no, well, touching wasn't. Of course, touching is not
when
allowed.
You go to enough cons, it gets really weird.
I know. Okay, really so weird. Just out of topic. I know Hallmat just happened, but I don't know if anybody knows. Okay, so if everyone's listening, there is a convention in Florida, Orlando, Florida, every winter called Hallmat, Holiday Matsuri.
You mean the furry convention?
Yeah. The anime convention. It's called it's called Holiday Matsuri. Okay. Here's the thing about that convention. Don't go to it unless you are single and
top tier, top shelf,
and willing to catch some sort of disease
and willing to ignore certain smells.
Because essentially Hallmat is just one big I mean we're in podcast, so it doesn't really matter. It's like one big orgy in there. It's just dirty. It's just very dirty.
Like, man, I miss SuperCon being that way.
SuperCon, I think, is still pretty dirty, man.
No, not anymore. Not anymore. They're not like the adult dad that used to be cool and used to be in it for the after parties. Now it's like, no, after we're closed, I want to go to sleep early.
The adult dad.
To see, it's like the very like the guy that you party all the time, but he partied out for the rest of his life. And it's like, no, I want to go to sleep early today. It's like, what are you talking about?
But like you have conventions like Hallmat that kind of just puts a little bit of a taint on like what Kevin Boyd and everyone in FanExpo is trying to do. They're trying to make everybody safe and whatnot, but then all of a sudden you see Hallmat and like Colossal Con. I don't know if you've seen those ones too as well. That just kind of taints the whole thing and like everything that they're trying to do. It like makes.
By the way, I got my graded cards back.
Good for you, man.
I know. I waited a year for these things.
I know. Oh, don't get me started on that. Just off topic. Don't get me started on CGC. I'm waiting on like 50 books from like February. Okay. So, if you were to go
by the way, Eugene still wants his book from like 3 years ago.
Okay. If you were
you can't avoid that.
If you were to go to any convention, Lewis,
right.
Which one would you pick?
To go and have fun?
Well, yeah, because I mean, like you have like underlying conditions. So basically, what I'm asking you is that if you were going to go to convention and die, if you're going to die for a convention,
can I pick the year?
No, just any convention that you're willing to go to.
I would really love 2015 SuperCon. Okay, never mind.
It's got to be. Here's what I think. Here's my theory. Okay, here's my theory where you should go. I think you should go to MegaCon. Okay, one is close. 2 is like the largest one in Florida, and 3, I believe, true to my heart, that Mr. Kevin Boyd is not telling us something in there. There's something big that's going to happen there.
You're trying to convince me to go, and I'm not going.
No. I'm dead serious. I think there's something big that's going to happen there. Because think about it. FanExpo wise, their largest one is like MegaCon. That's always big, right? And then I think Dallas is pretty big too as well. And then you got your Boston, right? But if they're going to go all out, I think there's a lot of celebrations happening right now for publishers. I think Valiant is also celebrating like 20 years or something like that. Image is celebrating 30 years. So if you are any of those publishers, you would want to pick like a big convention like MegaCon or Dallas or Boston. So if you're gonna go somewhere, I would say go to MegaCon.
Then why not move the dates?
What dates? No, you're not gonna move the dates. Why would you move the dates? They already have the date.
Just to push it more forward.
What? Well, like
to make it your forefront.
Well, oh, you mean like push it like earlier?
Earlier, yeah.
Why? You already have other ones that's coming in. It's like
replace it with certain other dates, and then just like if you're going to start, you might as well start big.
No, you have your anchors, and then in the middle of summer, you're gonna want to hit the summer ones. The fall, the summer and spring ones. That's where you want to hit, where everybody is on vacation.
Are you making a meal?
Yeah, I'm making a meal. That's just the way I look at it. I think that there is they are because I was trying to read on like what he's trying to say. I was like, where are you gonna go? I'm like, he's like,
funny enough, while you were reading him, you know what I was doing? Reading.
So he was I was trying to read on his underlining thing. It's kind of like Far From Home. He's like, I go to Philly. I'm like,
yeah, you ruined that movie for me, and I will literally go to California and burn your new house.
It's a nice movie, by the way. Just a side note, it's a very nice movie.
I've heard very nice things. I haven't heard one negative thing from it, which is kind of making me hate the movie or making me want to find something to hate about it. So stop saying super nice thing and say like, it was amazing, but then there's some parts that were
here's
whatever.
my beef. Okay, here's my beef with people like yourself. Okay. For someone who was like, oh no, don't tell me anything. I don't want to ruin it. My experience. Blah, 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 blah.
I mean, like,
okay, listen.
People. I work at a comic book shop. People always ruin shit for me all the goddamn time.
I know, but listen,
I might as well have seen Hawkeye by now.
Right.
That's all I ever get is like Hawkeye.
But listen, Far From Home is like the worst movie to keep any secrets at all. We all know that all three of them are gonna be there. Don't act like you're like, no, you just ruined it for me. We all know.
I mean, like, you can't escape that. That's all the news media coverage can cover.
Right. It's like me telling you that there's gonna be 3 Spider-Mans from Far From Home.
It's about the experience, really.
I'm not ruining the movie for you. It's not like me telling you like, oh,
I don't know what is your obsession with going like ever since I told you that Godzilla 2000 was a terrible movie because of all the rain trying to hide the CG. It's just like you day after day trying to ruin movies for me. Since then, I've been like your arch nemesis for movies.
Yeah. Here's a spoiler, Lewis. Passion of the Christ, the main character dies. I just ruined it for you. Just blew your mind, didn't I?
Listen, that movie is based completely on fiction. My boy Jesus lived in the end. They never showed you the extended cut.
Here's another one I'll ruin. Avatar.
What? Say that again. Like you were lagging for me.
Avatar's like Pocahontas.
Avatar's like Pocahontas.
Yeah, it's literally a story of Pocahontas. New world, conquering someone the guy I wanted to like mate with. It's pretty much like that. So I'm not ruining the movie for you.
Towards the end, it wasn't. I mean, there was a much better outcome on this one than Pocahontas. Pocahontas, Pocahontas was not bad until the end. Then it became a real downer.
How did you find some down? How did you find Pocahontas so what part of Pocahontas was so depressing to you?
The end.
Like what?
He didn't smash that ass.
Like you never saw John Smith again?
You did. She just ended up with the prince, which wow. She scaled up in the world and it's like boom, left the other guy like immediately.
Okay, so getting back to Far From Home, Lewis. Let me ask you this. What's your theory on Far From Home? There you go.
It's going to be a Spider-Man movie.
Oh no.
Based on the multiverse theory.
Oh.
That they've made bullshit out of, and Spider-Man wants to make sure that none of the villains die.
So why are you so like up in arms with me ruining the movie for you when you just described the actual movie itself?
Because you're an asshole. Is that fair to say?
Okay, so what do you think? Okay, so now you know the plot of Far From Home.
Okay.
I mean, No Way Home. Sorry, No Way Home.
Okay, whatever, man. You've been saying Far From Home this entire time.
Have I really been?
Yeah, you've been saying Far From Home this entire time.
Well, No Way Home.
Okay.
Now you know what's gonna happen in No Way Home. Is it really gonna ruin the movie for you if I were to tell you what's gonna happen? Like if I tell you one big thing?
Yes.
How?
Because I don't want you to. You live off spoiling shit for me for some weird reason.
Okay.
I get disappointed when I don't give you permission.
Okay, I gotta say, I do have a vendetta against you when you told me about Godzilla, one of my favorite movies.
Okay. And I have never lost that full-on erection of knowing that I ruined your favorite movie.
There was an insanely amount of rain to cover up the bad CG on Godzilla.
It was terrible. Even then, when you start noticing the bad CG, you can't unsee it.
And like what we talked about, that camera that
my God, we need that camera.
Hank Azaria was carrying the whole time was like
on his shoulders.
On his shoulders.
And that man was praised as a hero.
And that camera was like waterproof, dirt proof, and everything. And we have cell phones nowadays that doesn't even survive a fall
like
from
a
like
raindrop.
2 inches, like a raindrop. And Hank Azaria's
combusts, and that stupid ass thing like can survive a stomp from Godzilla's foot.
And for some reason, it just survives, man.
Survives, like dude, Tundra, like that camera had to be a prop. Couldn't be a working camera. No. I'm gonna theory craft this camera can survive through this.
So before we go, I gotta mention to you guys that we also have a few shows that we're adding, 2 shows that we're adding. One of them, do you remember what the other show was, Louis?
To be honest, man, I don't even know what happened yesterday.
Okay, so we are adding a show called Random Nerdy Shit, because essentially we cannot contain on one topic for We Got Issues. We just kind of sidetrack on everything else pop culture and comic books related. So
mostly my fault.
Yeah, we might as well just do it in like one show. Okay. So we're gonna have that, and that's gonna be every Friday. I believe it's every Friday. And then We Got Issues, obviously, is every Sunday that you guys are gonna be hearing. And then we have another show that I managed to convince Louis to do. So I don't know how what?
What show?
What do you mean what show?
I don't remember.
I managed to convince Louis to do one more show, so making our show together 3 shows, something called Spoilers Ahead.
Oh, my.
So Louis knows I like to spoil things for him.
100%, and I'm very little to not affected by it.
The
only one that really pissed me off is the CW's collaboration, and then you ruined that Flash scene for me. That shit I'll never fucking forgive you for. That shit I will haunt your dreams for.
We have it's something called Spoilers Ahead. Spoilers Ahead. What is this Spoilers Ahead? Well, Spoilers Ahead is essentially me or Louis spoiling every single new movie and TV shows that's just out. So that podcast is probably not for you.
You will spoil it in a well thought out way. I will just be super dry.
Yeah. I would spoil No Way Home right now, but Louis hasn't seen it yet, and he cares so much about it. I don't know why. But I could spoil Matrix.
You're going to ruin the 5th movie of the year for me.
I could spoil Matrix.
Don't you love the fact that we start the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a decently great movie, and then they call that the movie of the year.
Right.
2 months later, another really great movie. This is the movie of the year. You cannot listen, bro. Finish the year and then we'll talk.
Yeah, I saw a meme that says No Way Home.
There's a lot of movie of the years this year.
Yeah, I saw a meme that says No Way Home, best Marvel movie ever. And then there's like a picture of like Avengers Endgame. They're like, so we're like
we're over me.
We're over now.
Like
So
I didn't receive this message earlier. This is news to me.
Just like that. Just news
like
to me.
that.
Just like that. You
After
don't
all
care
these
about
years?
this. I know, right? It's like just like that. Damn, man. Just like
Well,
that.
to be fair, I never really liked that movie that much.
No? Endgame?
Yeah. It was too cluttered. It was pretty, like always, but too much. I wish it was 2 parts.
What? It was 2 parts.
Too much. There's too much happening at the same time.
Well, you're in for a surprise then for No Way Home.
Okay, so we're redoing Endgame again. We're fixing the mistake that Tony Stark did in the beginning.
Here's what I feel like without ruining the movie for you, Lewis. I feel like in order to make a Marvel movie that everybody will love, like Endgame and Far From Home, sorry, not Far From No Way Home.
Okay.
It has to be as convoluted as possible, but not convoluted like Amazing Spider-Man 2 convoluted.
So God Doom making Battleworld?
So you have to overload people's senses, but not.
He's killed gods to become God himself.
No. Let me put it this way: you have to overload people's senses, but not to the point where you overload it like Amazing Spider-Man 2. No, not Amazing Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 3. Tobey Maguire.
You mean the greatest meme of all time and him dancing for no fucking reason?
Pretty much.
I mean, like, I feel like we went backwards on that one. It's like we were so underwhelmed that we were trying to find any treasure whatsoever in that movie. And that fucking dance.
Amazing. But yeah, so watch out for those 2 shows that we just added. Random Nerd Shit, that's every Friday, and you also have your spoilers ahead, which we still don't have a date for that. We're probably going to be like a Friday too as well. We'll see how it goes.
Most likely next year.
Yeah, it'll be next year. It will be I'll definitely be next year.
I'm more open towards it on Sunday.
No, Sundays is we got issues. Yeah. No. Airing.
We don't got
airing.
Airing, yeah, that's fine. But I mean recording though.
Recording. Well, you and I can decide.
We'll decide that later.
Yeah, we'll decide that later. But it'll be next year. And then
get ready for non-helpful spoiler reviews on my side and him overthinking the spoiler.
But we are we might be adding more shows in there, but not with me and Lewis. It'll be with other new people. I'm in the middle of speaking with a couple of people to do their own shows on our channel. Again, and we are on Spotify. We're here on YouTube too as well. YouTube, the only one that's going to be in YouTube would be We Got Issues, and then there might be another one there depending, but it won't be with me and Lewis. But we are all in all social media formats. You're looking at Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio Podcast Network, on Facebook Podcast Addict, Anchor. We're going to be in Anchor pretty soon. Google Podcast, Stitcher. And then finally, once we get cleared and given the okay, we will also be in Apple Podcasts. So
also, if you love the idea of a show just called Lewis versus Tim, video games, real life, quiz shows, let me know.
Also, just forewarning, since we are all in all these directory now for podcasts, I probably should tell you guys we're probably sold out too as well. So there might be some advertising that you'll hear us. I would say like this podcast brought to you by so and so and so. So
if we get sponsored by Liquid Death, can you send me the water?
That'd be so awesome.
Fuck, just send me the water.
I want to get in touch.
I'm gonna get paid by them. I just want the water.
I want to get in touch with Dwayne Johnson so I can just drink.
That's never gonna happen. But Liquid Death, that's a dream. That's a possibility.
So I can just drink Zoa the whole time.
You can just contact Zoa.
No, they're gonna be like, no, go away.
I mean, yeah, but no one drinks that shit.
What?
It's disgusting.
First off, Zoa is like the fastest growing, and no, the fastest selling energy drink right now. You know that, right?
So pretty much where Bang was 4 years ago.
No, not Bang. Not like Bang. Not like Bang. Yeah, you on the other hand, you're too loyal to Red Bull.
I mean, just fucking send me some samples. I'm not paying for that shit.
And contact Red Bull then.
I mean, I might as well contact G Fuel. At least they'll give us a chance.
I'm not doing no goddamn G Fuel.
All they want is for G Fuel to always be on your screen somewhere. We can make some really ridiculous box and then it's like sponsored by G Fuel.
G Fuel.
Do we drink it? No, but we want you to drink it.
G Fuel is the most garbage thing I've ever seen in my whole life. I seen what the ingredient is on G Fuel. Essentially, all they did was they took the pre-workout for bodybuilders and just put it in like another jar.
I feel like that's all energy drinks now.
Depending.
Maybe the flavor is different sometimes, but all the basic ingredients it's always
the same. What's not included in G Fuel is
creatine, I think.
Creatine, yes, it's not included. Because if you drink,
you're gonna get fucking fat. You're gonna get fat so fast.
Water and fat, yes, water and fat.
Dude, I keep telling everybody, like, if you drink Bang, I hope you sweat like a motherfucker.
Yeah, so that's you kind of surprised me, Lewis, that you know that.
Creatine? No. I've been around you too many times to not pick up some stuff.
You've been around me too many times.
I mean, you talk about workout all the time, and I just like you think I'm not paying attention, but I am listening.
I'm like Stewie's like, yo, want to go, bro? You want to go? You want to go, bro? I'm walking here. What are you doing, man? You want to lift? What? You lift?
I'll cut you.
Oh, but yeah, if you drink creatine or Bang, yes, if you drink Bang and you do not work out at all, you just sit on your ass the whole time. Oh man, the water weight that you'll accumulate.
If you gain like 20 pounds after 2 months unexpectedly, it wasn't unexpected.
And you'll get headaches too as well. You'll get headaches. You'll get massive headaches if you don't work out. So
because you're retaining too much water.
Yeah, so if you are going to be drinking Bang, you better be working out. So, or have a banging body. So it's one of those.
That's one of their advertisements, right?
That's all they do. It's either a girl with a big ass or a guy with just all chest.
I actually met the CEO or the owner of Bang.
He's weird. He's odd. Have you seen his social media? His social media always begins with "Welcome to Bang Energy Drink."
And he exercises at every intro. It's just him exercising, and then he acknowledges you.
He looks like that uncle that never stops working out, but he's not working out properly, so everything kind of looks soggy. But like there's definition.
Some parts of his body are more defined than the others.
I feel like
it's not well distributed like workout.
Like I feel like if he was to like pull his pants down, his dick would be all soggy and like wrinkly.
That's just age.
Oh, we're gonna have so much fun in random nerd shit, man.
Shitting on everybody's life.
Just shitting on like Bang Energy.
And
CEO.
maybe if we get big enough, somebody will make fun of us.
Anyways, that's it for now. This is the end of the year, so for everybody out there, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. This is
whatever you celebrate. We don't care. We don't discriminate.
So the next time that you're gonna hear and see us will be 2022. Essentially, whatever's happening now is happening the exact same. Like pandemic, Omicron, everything. So
you just gotta let Optimus Prime know if you find any signal of Omicron.
Yeah. Before
Optimus Prime will do anything to delete that.
Before we go, by the way, Lewis, how much do you hate Canada right now that they're 90% vaccinated?
I'm actually quite proud and excited for a country that can unite into one goal to continue back into normality versus one that's kind of like so fucking pig-headed and so much diverse, like uneducated opinions, or use the excuse of like there's not enough data. It's like you're not a fucking doctor. You're not looking through fucking anything.
%, man. Can you believe that? A whole country, 90%. Essentially, they go Omicron virus. Who the fuck cares?
I mean, they're already at the percentage where they don't have to get any more people vaccinated.
Yeah,
other than the children.
Yeah, so basically, all those anti-vaxxers in Canada right now, they can anti-vax all they want because the people have already vaccinated.
Herd, like, yeah, the herd is way bigger than like immuted than the disease.
It's like if you had one stupid cousin, and
it was actually thanks to the anti-vaxxers that polio's reemerged.
What it's like if you had one stupid cousin and you always have to watch out for your one stupid cousin because they don't want to do anything. That's what Canada is. It's like watching.
I actually had one, and then I decided to stop. And then he got somebody pregnant, had a kid, broke up, then went to the motherland, Cuba, and then got somebody else pregnant. I'm like, dude, I left you alone for like a month. How?
Motherland, Cuba.
Motherland, Cuba.
But yeah, I mean, so
it's highly populated by Russians. So
we're gonna end it there. Also, for everybody who's listening, Dexter is out again. So the new
what are you talking about? No. If we're gonna like go on our knees and suck anybody's Witcher 2.
New season of
Witcher season 2 out. Watch it.
So good.
If we're gonna suck anybody's,
I would the Witchers. I would so do that, man. Oh, did you hear about that announcement too as well? Oh man, this show's never gonna end. Did you hear about the announcement of Blood Origin?
Oh, so they're going with the other books now?
Yeah, they're doing Blood Origin.
Cool.
So they're gonna turn this whole franchise to a fucking Game of Thrones, man. Under Henry Cavill's back.
Yeah. It's the one man that probably like memorized all the books.
He's the one actor who actually
read the material.
Man. Yeah, he's like an executive producer that you want. Like that somebody says, we do it this way. He's like,
hey, no. Rather than that, let's use from this line from this page and this paragraph.
The only show that Netflix actually follows the books somewhat, but still good.
Within reason.
Within reason, still.
There's some shit that will never be able to get to. And if they took note from season 1, they're gonna probably turn down the political side of things, which they really tried to get all of it through in the first season, which they like iceberg. Like the amount of politics around that series is very important for what motivates a lot of these regions to do what they're currently doing. And people shit on the first season for that reason alone to explain. So I'm like, well, you're going to get a bunch of sex and rock and roll, but you're not going to understand why they're doing this.
I'm only in the episode 2, but I can't wait to see Ciri as a female Witcher, man. Hopefully.
You do know why she doesn't need that genetic like alteration, right?
I do.
Okay.
I do. So,
okay. You would have had that explanation if you fucking let people fucking just explain shit in the background of it and pissy at it.
God. Right. But again, thank you for listening to us, guys. We're all in 9 directory for podcasts, so just choose any one of them and just click our name. So we will see you.
You can follow us at our Twitch channel, Lewis versus Tim. You might actually find somebody. It's probably not us, but I fucking find it funny if like I can push that.
Right. But we'll definitely see you guys next year, which is in a few weeks. So any last words for 2021, Lewis?
Good riddance.
It's the same thing. It's gonna happen. So
yeah. New year, new me. I mean, like, bitch, that was like a few days ago. What are you talking about? We're still dealing with the same shit. It just came. It's like rollover minutes. Everything that happened that still happening now.
Okay, we're ending it right there. That's the best way that you can end it. Rollover minutes. That's what 2022 is. Have a great Christmas, everybody, and have a great New Year.
Peace
out.